Hello, y'all. Hello. How's it going? Well, welcome to PowerBanking, the podcast for women leaders who work within male-dominated industries. And this podcast is dedicated to helping women share tips, tools, and resources for winning season. So today's episode is all about winning season. So this week's weekly tips for winning season are directly related to what we're collectively going through across the world, which means we are practicing social distancing like we have never done in our lifetime. And so I want to give you some tips to stay productive and to continue to move forward as we are dealing with something where we don't have a lot of experience in it. So 5 steps for winning season this week, but with 2 bonus steps. So 1, respond versus react. 2, write a to-do and to-stop list. 3, unplug from the news for just 1 hour a day. Number 4, in that hour, tackle your to-do and to-stop list. Number 5, recognize your progress in winning season. Number 6, repeat. And number 7, create a weekly win list. So I want to walk you through each of these steps for winning season. Our 5 steps for this week, but our 2 bonus steps. So let me tackle number 7 first, because for me, it's helpful for me to start with the end sometimes and work backwards. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Jacqueline Twillie. I am president at ZeroGap.co. Now, ZeroGap, what we do is we work with leaders in traditionally male-dominated industries, and we help them enhance their leadership toolkit. So our training and development company has both in-person resources where we do trainings live, which are currently suspended because of the coronavirus pandemic. We have suspended in-person trainings, but we have a full library of trainings plus a full weekly catalog for the rest of this year where you can tune into one of our training sessions live. So head over to ZeroGap.co to find out more information. So as we hop into these 5 steps for winning season, the formula, I said we're starting with number 7. So I want to share with you what winning season means. Winning season is emulating excellence without excuses. So for those of you who listen to the podcast, you know I say that all the time. That is our sign off phrase. Here's what it means. We don't strive for perfection, but we do strive to do 110% of what we can at any given moment. So with that, emulating excellence without excuses translates to winning season in this way. When we see progress in our personal lives and in our professional lives, it's because we have done things to put us in a position to win. For example, when you look at a weekly win list, which is number 7 on our list, if your goal for Q1, which Q1 ends at the end of March 2020, if your goal for the end of Q1 is to have read 1 book for the quarter, your weekly goal may be finish 5 pages a week, or finish 1 chapter in a week, or listen to 1 chapter in the audiobook a week. It can be anything related to your bigger goals. Now, earlier in the year, I did a full training on goal setting. That training is available at our membership site. So if you go to ZeroGap.co, you can get access to that goal setting formula. So your weekly wins are the small steps that you take to get you to your bigger wins, all right? So that's number 7. I wanted to clarify that because the different elements that we have this week in winning season, our formula, they're all related to getting you towards that bigger goal. So number 1, respond versus react. Now, what do I mean by that? Most people think they're the same, and they are very different. Here's why. When you react, you just start looking at things and you're like, oh, I need to do this. It incites panic and anxiety because you're not fully thinking through how you're going to approach a situation. Now, they all start the same. Well, we're dealt with a hand of cards. So, for instance, we're dealing with a global pandemic, and some people are reacting. They're going out and they're panic buying, and they're doing things that they normally wouldn't do because they don't have a game plan. When you respond to something, you think through, okay, this is the situation. So 1, you assess it. 2, you troubleshoot. You figure out, okay, this is what I have to do to deal with this scenario. And then you create a plan or an outline. Sometimes this is just a mental plan of, okay, I need to do X, Y, Z. And then from there, you execute your plan. So that's the difference between reacting and responding. Now the next step, write down a to-do or to-stop list. So you can do this on a piece of paper, or you can do this using your electronic device. But you want to be clear on what things you want to accomplish. This is where we look at those bigger goals, and we're breaking this down weekly. This is what winning season is all about, continuously moving forward towards our goals. So when you write down your goal, you want to list the simple steps. And again, simple is important because you don't want to be overwhelmed. The simple steps that you need to take to move you towards achieving that goal. Sometimes you will also need a to-stop list. So if you're currently watching 3 hours of TV a night, but you really want to read 1 book a quarter, you're going to have to stop watching TV for 3 hours. Maybe you watch TV for an hour and a half and you read for an hour and a half. I just want to give you a very practical example of what can be on your to-stop list. For someone, to-stop list may be, I'm spending way too much time on social media. I'm going to cut it back. If you get that weekly report on iPhone like I do, and it says, oh, you average 6 hours a day on your phone, well, I may think that's kind of high. I need to cut that back. And if I want to cut that back, I won't say, oh, I'm only going to spend 1 hour. No, that's not realistic. If I'm currently spending on average 6 hours a day, realistically cutting back says I'm going to cut back to 5 hours and 30 minutes. And once I achieve that, then I can say, okay, now I'm going to cut down to 5 hours and 15 minutes and slowly move myself to the goal of where I'm comfortable at. So that's a to-stop list. Now, when you have a to-stop list, you want to be intentional and think about what are you going to replace that with. So what's going to be on your to-do list? If I'm going to stop spending as much time on social media, what am I going to replace that with? Again, keeping with the example that we used earlier, it can be reading a book. And if you look at all of the books behind me, those of you who are watching the video, you know I love books. I am a bookworm. So, just want to recap for you. The winning season formula for this week. Number 1, respond versus react. Number 2, write a to-do and a to-stop list. Now, number 3, unplug from the news for 1 day. What we're learning is that people who are consuming information around the clock, they're currently refreshing their feed. Every time they pick up their device, they're increasing their anxiety. So to reduce your anxiety, one of the ways that you can do that is unplug from the news for just 1 hour. Now, what do you do in that hour? You work on your to-do and your to-stop list. So you see how each part of winning season, this week's formula, each step builds on each other. So number 4 is you tackle that to-do or to-stop list. Number 5, at the end of the day, I just want you to sit back and reflect for maybe 1 minute. 1 minute is all you need to reflect, to say, okay, these are my weekly goals. Am I responding or reacting? Yes or no? Just a quick check-in. Number 2, I have a to-do list and a to-stop list. Am I following those? Yes or no? And then you're unplugged from the news for 1 hour a day. So ask yourself, did I unplug? And if I couldn't unplug for a full hour, did I make it 10 minutes? Did I make it 5 minutes? Do whatever you can to start building those baby steps. Now, when you had that time off, were you working towards your list, tackling that to-do and to-stop list? That is where number 5 comes in, where you go through that at the end of a night. It can take you like 1 minute to just run through the list in your head. Now, number 6, repeat this every day for the week. And then number 7, at the end of the week, what you want to do is you want to look back and celebrate your wins. So your wins could be, this week, I responded more than I reacted. This week, I wrote down my to-do and to-stop list, and I was intentional about looking at that daily. You can go back to this weekly win list and say, okay, I unplugged from the news for just a little bit. Number 4, I tackled my to-do list. Maybe I didn't get it all done, but it is a win that I worked towards. So I've just given you a lot of practical examples of how to set yourself up for winning season this week and the steps that you need to take so that you can experience win after win, even when we are practicing social distancing. So keep me posted, y'all. I want to know how you're doing with this in particular, this winning season formula. Now, from let's say a few months ago, I forget the exact date that we started this, I've been sharing weekly season formulas. Some of you have reached out to me, you've shared your success in it. I know some of you I work with on a one-on-one basis as your executive coach, and you're really kicking butt and really sticking to your weekly winning season list, these formulas that I've created for you. So I want to hear from you, PowerBanking community. It's winning season. How are you taking steps to grow in your professional and personal life? Now, I just want to remind you that our in-person trainings at zerogap.co are currently suspended, but you can still take part of our live trainings or participate in any of our pre-recorded trainings, which are all found at zerogap.co. So until next time, my friends, continue to emulate excellence and eliminate excuses.